Hi, welcome to this first episode of ICMA Education and Training present Let's Talk Markets. Over the next few months, ICMA staff will be talking to some of our members about a range of capital market related topics in sustainable finance, in fintech, repo, the buy side, bond issuance, the history of the trading floor, and more. So these conversations will be released as a series of vlogs and podcasts and available on your favourite channels. To kick things off today, we're going to have a chat with our CEO, Bryan Pascoe. Now, many of us have heard Bryan talk about ICMA, a lot about ICMA in the past, our history, our mission, the work streams, and I think ICMA's wider place in the market. But today, we're going to give him an opportunity to speak about something slightly different, about your career progression on career path to date. So Bryan, probably fair to say that you've had a pretty successful career to date. Could you tell us a little bit about your career journey and what sort of roles you've had and maybe how you've progressed from role to role?
Very happy to do so, Mark, and this is a great opportunity, I think, to set the scene, as you say, for a very kind of rich area of activity that we will be introducing more formally through these channels. I actually started in financial services back in the early to mid 90s on the Morgan Stanley investment banking program, and that actually took me to Hong Kong in the second or third year, and it was actually in Hong Kong where I joined HSBC, where I actually stayed for the rest of my career. Principally in capital markets roles. I came back to London from Hong Kong around 2005. My final role in the capital markets arena was global head of the debt capital markets business there, which was one of the biggest capital markets businesses in the industry. I also ran kind of broader coverage teams in corporate banking, and I was group treasurer as well at HSBC for 2 years during the time of Brexit and a lot of kind of concerns in the banking system. So that was a very good learning ground, actually, in terms of how banks operate, how treasury functions operate, how investors think. We ran the investor relations program as well. So it gave me a very good grounding, I think, to the overall industry position. And I think all of that knowledge was very helpful coming into this role, where I've now been for 2.5 years, and I have to say enjoying it very, very much.
Excellent, excellent. So given the topic of this series, have you engaged much with professional development training throughout your career? And if so, what sort of things have you done?
Well, I think, taking a step back again, and, I came into this industry the best part of 30 years ago. I think first and foremost is probably to say that training and education have evolved a lot since then. I think there wasn't really much formalized ongoing training, I would say, in most large organizations at the time. I think external providers, such as ICMA, were few and far between as well. So the industry's moved on, which is great to see. I was fortunate enough, though, to be able to participate in some training courses. I did derivatives and advanced derivatives courses, which are important in my direct role. As my career developed as well, my management put me on a management development courses as well to help to build kind of leadership skills. So all of those things were very important, I think, for me at the end of the day. It's great to see now, though, that I think there's much more embedded training within the system. And I think if we look at our own kind of offerings, which are best in class, no question, it's great to see that we can really help to formulate the future and professional development of a lot of people coming into the industry and as they look through their careers.
That's actually really interesting to me. I hadn't actually realised that the development area for this particular sector had evolved so much.
It has.
So going to a slightly different thing as opposed to training and talking a little bit about mentorship. So, what do you think about, or how do you view the role of mentorship in career growth? And have you ever been a mentor or a mentee?
I've been both, actually, and I think it's extremely important. You have to learn from those around you. You have to receive guidance, and I think you have to be able to give it as well. I hope that very much helps to develop some of the leadership skills and the empathy skills when you're talking to somebody who's looking to you to give them that degree of guidance. I also think it's very important to, be a mentor or receive mentorship from somebody outside of your direct area of activity within the market. I think getting that different perspective, maybe talking to somebody who knows a little less about your technical skills and day-to-day requirements, but thinks more about the person and how you kind of develop yourself. I think that's a very important element. And as a mentor, I think you can learn a lot about yourself as to how you engage with somebody and help to facilitate their growth.
I think that's a really, really good answer, actually, and I think you're right. It's incredibly important to have that kind of skill transfer, isn't it? That conversation. One of our episodes, actually, which we shot earlier, has Tim Skeet, who you know very well. He's a capital markets banker with many years' experience in the city, and he's talking to Alex Malitsky,
yes,
who's the chair of the ICMA Future Leaders Network, and in talking about Tim's career over the past 40 years. And it really was an interesting conversation. Tim had some absolute pearls to share. And so I was just wondering, sort of, what is the best, or indeed the worst, piece of career advice you think you've ever had in your career?
Well, I've received a lot of bad advice, that's for sure, but let's focus on the good stuff, shall we? I think I've had a number of managers and other sort of stakeholders who've guided me, who've always encouraged persistence. It's easy to get knocked down, but learn from your mistakes, learn from where things have gone wrong, keep going. And I think this is, it's a life lesson as much as anything else. But I think also to be a good team player, and I think that's more important now than ever, to really be, think outside the box, look around you, bring your colleagues into the discussion, work towards the common goals that everybody has, but of course at the same time, remaining focused on what you need to deliver. But I think definitely that kind of, that element of really growing the team and being a key team player is an important element, I think, that I took away, and it served me very well, actually, I would say, through the different roles that I've been in.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It actually resonates. I saw recently a thing with Barack Obama saying one of his key things was getting things done, and I think that really resonates quite well with that.
But also as part of that, I think ask a lot of questions. Don't be scared to, the old adage, to ask a stupid question. Yeah. I think there'll always be somebody who respects the fact that you've reached out and want to kind of grow your knowledge. So I think that's a very important additional element that I would add.
Final question. This series is designed to kind of raise awareness of ICMA, not just in our different work areas, but also as a training provider. So how do you feel that training fits into ICMA's wider mission in the global capital markets?
So, our kind of core mission, right, is to promote efficiency and well-functioning capital markets. And I think, any form of market capacity building and education and training is central to that, is critical in what we deliver to our members and our broader stakeholders. To the extent that we can play a key role in the knowledge building of junior staff, but also as people progress through their careers. It's a critical utility of what we provide to the market, but it's also, there's a degree of self-interest there as well. Let's be honest, it helps to build our brand, it embeds us further in the industry, and we're doing something really positive in terms of outcomes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, look, Bryan, thank you very, very much for your time this morning. Really, really appreciate it. Quite nice to talk about something different than the markets for a change. And look, thanks you to all of the audience for listening. We hope you enjoyed it, and make sure that you look out for more episodes of ICMA Education and Training Presents Let's Talk Markets. Thanks.